best of Frank Skinner. Absolute Radio.
It was my partner's birthday at the weekend. I won't say how old she was, but it was a big one. It was one of the big... I'll go on, I'll say it. She was 18. And no, she wasn't. She wasn't. Can I ask you a question? If I said she was 94, would that be better or worse than she was 18?
The producer's nodding as if better. I think.
94 would be better. Isn't that strange? That how we balance it. Courting death is more acceptable than courting life. But no, she's obviously she's a bit older than that. I'll be straight with you. But I bought her Apple Music. Now I don't know if you know, it's a streaming service.
I'm a fan myself.
Yes, well, I was at the Brits one year, and there was a 3-month trial thing, and I thought I'd give it a go. And
Don't say you gave her that.
No.
Oh, God.
No, unfortunately that had gone. I wish I had, as you'll see.
You're still here, so clearly not.
So I found it life-changing.
Did you?
Yeah. And she loves music, you know. Not many people love music more than my partner, so I thought this is the dream gift. So I got family Apple Music, me, Boz, and Kath all.
Oh, yeah.
Lovely.
So you send out like email saying, you have
Congratulations
Apple Music.
is pushing it.
Something like that. They send them, I didn't word it. I didn't write the emails. But anyway, I got a call from Kath as soon as I realised the emails had gone out. And it was as close as she has ever said to me, what is the meaning of this? She said, what is this? What's this? And I said, well, I know it's a bit early, but she said, no, but what is it? I said, I bought you Apple Music. She said, I don't want it. I've told you I don't want it. I don't want any more complications in my life.
Oh, I see.
I said, no, but you just press, like a list comes up. I don't want it. I don't want all that. No, I told you.
I feel the same way as her. I'm a bit scared of that sort of thing, yeah.
But it's a very passive...
Terrifies me.
You go on and search and you might put in... well, what have I put in recently? George Jones, because I've been watching the Ken Burns country music documentary series, which I must say, even if you don't like country music, is amazing. If you do, it's through the roof. Anyway, do you know Ken Burns? No, but thanks for the tip. That's it. You put the name in, 10 albums come up, you just listen to music. But she won't use it. She's told me she will not use it. I've paid for it now. So that's that.
Oh.
I mean, ways of upsetting. We was watching a programme about the history of the nude on BBC Art coverage.
Oh, here we go.
And they had some Cranach paintings of Adam and Eve.
Love Cranach.
And I felt a slight tension in the room with the Apple references. I felt, honestly, I could feel an atmosphere. So, of gifts I've bought, which I thought this is perfect, that have gone, I can't think of a greater gap between the anticipation and the result. Oh.
The best of Frank Skinner.
Absolute Radio.
What's that?
I spoke this morning with the German Chancellor, Herr Hitler.
I wish that had been you and us.
How was it? It was too bad.
I want to discuss Thomas Cruise the Fourth, I believe he is.
Is it?
Sighting.
Oh,
yes.
I think he's got another name, isn't he?
I know what it is. Having had a
Cruise
crush.
is his middle name, isn't it?
Oh, sir, can I tell you the name?
Yes,
Having had a crush for some time, May Pother.
Oh, that's right.
May
I don't
Pother.
like May Pother.
May Pother.
May Pother.
It's an Irish name, I believe.
Is it?
He's Irish. There's Irish in there.
May Pother. I don't like the way it falls away at the end. It starts with May, so right, bang, and then...
Yeah.
It's
a
spelled...
bit like the way Tom's gone. film-wise.
Oh, how
Ooh.
dare you? It's spelt Mapother, but it's pronounced Maypother.
Well,
He's been in the UK. He's been shooting Mission Impossible 7.
7 and 8.
Oh,
Is it really?
Is
He's
it?
shooting 7 and
Is it honestly?
maybe it's about time they admitted that mission is actually
Very
impossible. Yeah. Well, just give up on it. It took 8 films. I mean, that's a mission. They could have been doing other missions in other films.
I like the fact that he's bringing a comedian's double-up approach to making films.
I know.
Back in the days when we had live comedy, a comic could do
Yeah.
2 gigs on a Saturday night.
Well,
And
I used to do 5.
I've done 5, but, you can't do 5 films simultaneously,
You probably
surely.
could those films.
Yeah, they're mainly running about.
Just
Oh, how dare you.
shoot the exploding cars from different angles, change the odd license plate.
Stop the old black polo neck so you don't get the marks, the
7
white
and 8.
marks.
I see, that shocks me. That I thought Tommy. That was the thing when I grew up, that people
Love
called
Tommy.
Tom would be called Tommy.
Should we call him Tommy?
If you like.
Tommy.
like-
No, Tommy they'd call him. Tommy.
Oh, Tommy.
There was a bloke he was called Tom Jones, I remember, and they used to call him Tommy Jones. I remember a mate of mine said, I said, Tommy Jones down Albury. Anyway, Tom, I'm surprised he's doing a 7 and 8 of anything. He wouldn't have done that in the old days, would he?
Well,
No, nothing's got that far as...
I think it's fairly lucrative, that franchise.
yeah.
Do you know how old he is, you two? Any ideas? Should we do our little guess?
Whoa.
To you first. I'm going to go to you, Alan Cochrane.
Okay, my guess is somewhere between 50 and 85. I think he's a confusing one.
Well, that's a bit silly, Billy.
I think he's younger than me. 58.
Correct, absolutely.
Oh. Da, 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 da.
This is-
That needs a jingle.
I've just got real flashbacks to school where I say something silly and then a SWAT pipes up with the perfect answer, and now I feel double silly.
Sorry, I feel very Hermione Granger.
You know what I like? That was the fact that you guessed that Tom Cruise was 58, and then we played The Boys Are Back in Town.
Well, he was back.
Macho thing ever.
He was back in town. Can I ask you a question? How long has it been since Tom Cruise was in the best-looking bloke chair?
Great question. For me, he's still in there.
Really?
Yeah, love
Yeah,
that
he's
man.
good.
I think probably.
5 years?
Oh no, 20.
Yeah.
No.
I think he's,
20?
in his defence, I'll say this: I think he's still a good-looking guy, but I think he's so
Stunning.
firmly in the does his own stunts chair that he can't have another chair.
He can't straddle chairs.
To me, he's in the sign autographs for everyone who's turned
Oh,
up
yes.
chair.
He's got the help some person at a scene of accident.
Yeah. He's got publicists saying this is all very well, but I've got to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning,
Yeah.
standing on the red carpet
Booked a
while he's
babysitter for tonight.
and
He's-
so easily lost in a crowd. I mean, he's essentially a travel celebrity. Apparently, he flew over here in a holdall.
Absolute Radio.
The best of Frank Skinner. Absolute Radio.
Alan, please.
We've actually had a missive in also on the subject of animals from Eddie from Coulsdon.
Okay. Oh, I'd like to live in Coulsdon.
Would you?
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
That's like, you know that bit in Pulp
Because I'd read
Fiction?
it, I was seeing the spelling rather than...
Do you know in Pulp Fiction when he says, okay, that's Cool and the Gang or something like that, it's just a way of saying cool.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, I'm going to start saying now, oh, okay, Coulsdon.
Are you?
Yeah, that is a thing I'm going to start saying.
Okay.
Are you? Oh.
Looking forward to that.
Well, we'll see how it goes.
So if I came in and I said, oh, well, I'm going to go to that gig on Tuesday, are you going to come with?
I go, yeah, Coulston. You'll see. It'll catch on.
I think it will.
Everyone will
I mean,
be
a lot
saying
that
it.
you say does catch on.
Oh man, I tell you how I'm feeling. I've got that sort of surge of adrenaline. You know, when you do something that makes you feel, you know what, empowered. You feel I have stood up and been counted.
Oh yeah.
Like when, for me, I haven't done this many times, but it really makes me think, like, you know what? If I want something, I will go out and, as long as it doesn't hurt anyone, I will go out and get it. I don't care what other people think of me. It's when I've opened the window on a bus.
Ooh.
I just got up and opened the window and sit down and think, yes, that is the kind of person I am.
Good for
if
you.
I want the window open, yeah, okay, you stared at me. You're thinking, look at that bloke opening the windows.
Very
Didn't
good.
I? Oh, man. It's just a lot, I think, things like that when, you know, when you say, excuse me, but this is a dirty fork. I'd like a clean one. It's only a little victory in life.
Mm-hmm.
But some people can't do it.
I heard someone returning something in a coffee shop the other day, and they said, I really don't want to be that person. And I thought, you are.
Yeah.
You definitely are being that person.
I do want to be that person. But there you are, you see. What you thought about them, that's the sort of thing that people think when you do something.
That she was being dynamic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, you thought,
Yeah. Yeah.
and that's what people think, oh,
I'm afraid I
shut
did.
up.
Yeah.
So you say, excuse me, but this steak tastes of urine. And people are thinking, oh, shut up.
Stop going on about it.
Who do people think they are? I mean, it's that. No, we're not together on it at all.
No.
Anyway, I would like to know what actions make other people feel empowered in
Well-
that same way. I'm glad I did that.
Al031 has one.
I haven't seen that.
Well, don't worry,
yeah.
I'm across it. Forgetting a £1 coin and using my front door key for a trolley at the
I
supermarket.
didn't even know.
Lack of change won't stop me.
Well, you can do that. You put a key
I
in.
know. Al,
Don't
Al,
want to... Oh,
Al has lit up like a
Oh, my
Christmas tree.
What? So I can
You
get
can do
free
what?
trolleys now.
You do get it back, don't you, the pound?
Yeah, but
no, I
I don't always
haven't.
have a pound.
The smile on that man, I'm blinded. It's like a camel.
Can I say Absolute Radio do not approve of people using the key instead of the
I
coin?
don't know that.
No, I'm guessing.
Yeah, you might
Okay.
need to
I haven't
run
got
past
the manual with me. It's been wiped outside.
Oh, Dad, what about this one, Al? Dan Bauer. He loves you, Frank. Frank, I love the fact that a high-profile celebrity such as yourself is humble enough to travel on a bus still. Man of the people.
Yeah, it's to do with having a over 60s travel card and being a bit, it's about time I got something back for all the tax I've paid is the darker motivation.
It's a nice thing to say, though, Dan.
It is, I think I
Yeah.
appreciate that, Dan. Drink
something
the
of a-
long draft, Dan, for the hip priest.
Something of a subject change. 700 has answered your question. I would guess Dickens wrote with a pen you had to dip in ink.
Yes.
Typewriters were available in his lifetime.
Were they?
I think it was Huckleberry Finn that was the first book composed on typewriter.
That is a very good. It's the first.
It's a very strange tone you've taken.
No, I didn't know where
Never
that.
heard you speak like that before.
I don't know where that tone came from. I didn't. I hope that never happens again. And all I said was that was a very good.
Yeah, it was
I mean,
like
it
that.
can be applied to so many things.
Oh, I mean, I
I
could
just
do
want
it.
some voiceover work. I think that's what he's
I could
after.
do a thesis on just analysing the peaks and troughs of that.
Yeah. Well, it's mainly just very growly, wasn't it? It was. I'm not sure about it. I tell you, it sounded a bit like who's that presenter that does Home is Where the Art Is? Nick.
Nick Knowles.
Yeah, Nick. No, it's a bit Knowlesian. Remember, there's clips of him singing.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know what he sung, but I imagine I know what his karaoke song is. I'm going to guess Mustang Sally.
Oh yeah, I'm thinking Big Bad Leroy Brown. Is that what it's called? Big Bad. Oh man, yeah. Stop it, Nick. Get out.
The best of Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Can I say on the sweet and sour front, I don't even have the slightest idea what's in it. I couldn't tell you what the base of it is. Anything. It's a taste which to me is as individual as Oscar Wilde. So,
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
We've had.
I don't mean the taste of Oscar Wilde.
Emily and I know the rough ingredients of sweet and sour sauce
Yeah.
now because we spent the last song reading 50 different versions of it that
I
have
mean,
come through the text.
they've been coming. These
Oh,
sweet and
thank
sours
you
in
for
their
that.
droves.
Yeah.
I'll kick off with 818. It's sugar, black vinegar, corn flour, soy sauce, red food colouring.
Really? That's it?
Well, there's other options are available. Al, over to you.
Yeah, some mischief makers, Neil and Francesca, have said, I reckon it's jelly babies and vinegar. I mean, that's just not.
No,
likely
but you
to
know
be true.
what?
Silly
that
billies.
to me, I can sort of feel that more than I can feel the other ingredients. If you mix, it'd be worth trying. I don't know if you could melt jelly babies. Is that? And
Yeah.
also, I think I might get a big guilt thing about it, like when I
I
take
think it's
Buzzy's
unlikely
teddy
given
bear.
your earlier
Oh, I-
text.
Yeah.
Well, what about coral from Cheltenham?
I thought you were going to say included coral.
No, I don't think that melts down that easily.
Also, the colour goes when you take it out the sea. It's
Oh,
no longer got
lovely.
that lovely orange tinge.
Coral from Cheltenham. What a great moniker. that is.
Coral from Cheltenham. I worked in a Chinese takeaway. I should say the emphasis differently. I worked in a Chinese takeaway.
Mm-hmm.
The main ingredients of sweet and sour sauce are, you ready, Frank?
Yeah.
White vinegar. Okay, yeah, I'll have that.
Yeah.
Oranges.
Oh, no.
Okay.
I can taste that.
Okay, well, see if you can taste this. Soy sauce.
Yeah,
A
cool.
few spices. Finally, Robinson's orange squash.
You are oranges and Robins. Has she got mixed up with the formula for orange juice?
That's a
She,
good question.
No,
Coral, knows whereof she speaks.
but you know what? I would never, ever try and make my own.
You wouldn't?
No, because if I made a duff one, I just
Oh,
would
yeah.
feel that I had. It's like
Crestfallen, would you?
It
It's
would
like I
ruin the
never-
dish
You know,
forever.
I do a poetry podcast, but I would never write poetry because
All
I
right.
would be slightly disgusted and disappointed by my own efforts.
Can I bring to your attention a text message from 775 who says pineapple is the secret ingredient?
Well, you do get bits of pineapple.
Yeah, it's
in
not
it.
a secret.
There's
There's big
no
lumps of
denying
it.
You can see them.
What bit of it is secret? It's
must
hiding in
be.
plain sight.
In the pineapple world, though, there must be a bit of status to being in, at the lower end.
Showing off to the oranges.
You know those people who live on gammon. They're at the lower end, but we're with the sweet and sour people. Very nice.
It's hardly a stealth fruit. It's yellow, for heaven's sake.
Yeah, it's very distinctive.
We've had so much sweet and
Well,
sour
thank you so
correspondence, but
Thank you for that.
This is the best of Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
I would like to ask you a question about collective nouns, and I know it almost feels like well-trodden comedy territory when people go a murder of crows or whatever the sharks one is, the school. I encountered a new one recently, and I don't know if it's a real one or if it's just a quirk
Go
of
on.
my brother-in-law's speech. He said when we were there, we'd had a bagel, like the kids had a bagel with peanut butter.
We
or
all had a
whatever.
bagel.
Yeah, we'd all had a
it did have the
bagel.
manner of we'd all had a bagel. Absolutely right.
And then as he was leaving, he said, "Oh, there's another sleeve of bagels in the kitchen if you're interested."
I like that.
It's quite it's like he's ecclesiastical, Frank.
Is he in a mariachi band?
But he said,
A sleeve of bagel.
I mean, I feel in both ways. Like, I think it could be a thing that it's a collective noun. People talk about a sleeve of bagels, or it could be a quirk of his that he doesn't even, he won't care if I'm making fun of him
What
on the
I'm
radio
thinking,
about it.
I'm thinking that he's talking about that packet that they come in.
Yeah.
That long thing. So
Is he?
So I don't think he's a collective noun for bagels.
No.
But
no,
sleeve,
no.
I've never said sleeve in my life.
It's nice
in that
though, isn't it?
context.
I'm just thinking, but you could
it?
have a sleeve of biscuits. I think you could
Is it
just as
nice?
easily have a sleeve of biscuits.
Oh, but
Sorry,
he
can
never
we
said
all
that.
stop pretending sleeve is a thing with food?
Oh, it is now.
I think
it's-
it makes absolute sense.
Well, I have to say it's very catchy because I haven't thought of bagels without thinking of sleeves since he said
No.
it. And you know, if you get like a big load of burger buns, you know, those sort of 12, I consider those now a suitcase or an attaché case of
Well,
burger buns.
I mean, if you're going to wear your heart on your sleeve, it's much safer to wear it on a sleeve of bagel.
Yeah.
Sleeve of bagels. I'm sure that's a Sherlock Holmes story, isn't it? A sleeve of bagels.
So it's not a thing. Is that what you're telling me? That it's a quirk of his?
Have you ever said sleeve, honestly, Frank, outside of this show?
Other than shirt sleeve or something like that, no. I haven't, but you know what, I might now.
Oh, here we go.
Well, I'm going to use it as a phrase forever.
I'm trying to think what we buy by the sleeve. I think you can get a sleeve of wine gums. I seem to remember they used to come in like a long see-through.
That makes sense, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I only bought them for lying down. I didn't actually eat them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've had some sleeve correspondence.
Oh, yeah.
David, he says in Glasgow, a carton of cigarettes is known as a sleeve of fags.
Is it really?
I believe so, yeah.
I like that.
No Stranger says the same. Cigarettes come in sleeves. A 200 pack is known as a sleeve. And Michael says, a friend of mine once told me he ate a whole sleeve of Weetabix.
I like that friend on 2 counts there. Big appetite and interesting vocabulary.
There used to be a thing about 3 shredded wheat. Was that the thing? That if you had 3 shredded wheat, you were... I remember Ian Botham did an advert which suggested his masculinity had been...
Was it sort of implied it was a feat that very few humans could achieve?
I think it was, yeah.
Ridiculous.
The best of Frank Skinner. Absolute Radio.
Frank, we're having a lot of response to your appearance last night.
Yes, I think my haircut has overtaken my...
I think she meant your appearance on Graham Norton, but you're right, we're also getting some
you...
hair correspondence too.
It is linked, yes.
I don't think... I can't think of many people who have genuinely gone on television knowing that their haircut is terrible and done nothing about it, but I felt I needed to take it to...
It's almost anti-pop star, isn't it, what you're doing? Because they go on with terrible hair, not knowing that it's terrible.
Yeah, there's that.
Or footballers.
And also, you know, when I used to do a chat show myself, there were people who came and went into makeup, but it was a great many people who arrived with their makeup and wardrobe, their own people. And they're in the room for like 3 hours being prepared, you know. And give us a chance to keep up.
Well, what I enjoyed last night was Ashley Banjo openly laughed when your hair was mentioned, but...
Yeah.
Did he?
Well, yes.
Well, his is meticulous, of course. His looks like, you know, people's hair who looks like daily maintenance hair.
Oh, right.
I can't be doing that. Daily.
Well, evidently not.
Oh, did you see our esteemed leader?
But I might watch it another time. I just didn't know it was on. He plays his cards close to his chest, doesn't he, with his other professional engagements.
You think I'm going to text you and say, by the way, I'm on Graham Norton tonight? I mean, what kind of scoundrel?
Our esteemed leader did a brilliant thing, Al.
Did he?
When they introduced him, you know when Graham Norton does a do-no and they do-do-do-do, the little sound bed of music?
Yeah.
Said, and Frank Skinner. And Frank, I think it's the only time I've ever seen anyone do this when, yeah, and cheered himself.
Well, as you know, I thought I'd been banned after... the Flying Ant Day incident on there. So
we've had a missive about that, actually.
Okay.
Don't usually watch Graham Norton, but was gripped to see Frank wondering if he'd bring up Flying Ant Gate, see if Miley Cyrus's Insect Know-How was better than Fassbender's.
That would have been quite a challenging thing. I was a little bit frightened of Miley Cyrus as well. She wasn't in the studio, I should say. The way it worked out was that Ewan McGregor and Miley Cyrus was on Zoom.
Oh yeah.
And me, Shirley Ballas, and I'll get back to, I made a terrible faux pas, but anyway, me, Shirley Ballas and Ashley Banjo were in the studio, which gave me a feeling, God bless all of us, is that the policy, because obviously there is some risk involved in going into the studio and being made up and having people around you.
Right.
And I got the feel we were categorised as people who showbiz could afford to lose.
Right, I see.
Those who are actually in the studio.
It's a tier system.
Yeah, whereas Miley and Ewan, you know what I mean? But they need to be looked after. It's showbiz gold. No, my terrible faux pas was all evening, and I didn't realise
I
till
think
I got...
know what it is.
Oh, go on.
Well, I don't want to raise it in case you don't realise
No,
it.
come on, I wouldn't mind another faux pas to take the edge off this one. This displacement of anxiety.
I'll tell you what I picked up on.
Go on.
Frank's face is actually contorting.
Yeah, I'm close to that.
There was a moment where Shirley Ballas
Oh, no.
had been talking about her, and she was very open, God love her, wasn't she? I thought she was brilliant, talking about her relationships and
Yeah.
how many times she'd been married.
Right.
And it was sort of becoming a bit of a joke, and she was all laughing. It was all very good-natured. Ewan McGregor popped up and talked about, he was promoting a show on a motorbike, and Shirley Ballas said, "Oh, I'd like to go on the back of your bike." And Frank said, "I see another marriage coming on."
Right.
And I suddenly, for a minute, I thought, are you referring to the fact that Ewan McGregor got divorced quite recently?
Oh, no, I don't. No, I missed that one. I'm all right with that. It takes the edge off it when they're on Zoom.
Yeah.
No, the problem was that on and off air, from arrival to leaving, I called Shirley Sally.
Oh, yeah, that is bad.
Yeah, I did that and this is a woman on probably the biggest show on television.
Yeah.
So I got back and I said to Kath, I said, "Oh no, it's really nice. Sally Ballas was on. She was like a night," and she said Shirley Ballas, and I went, too late.
The best of Frank Skinner.
Absolute Radio.
I came across something this week which interested me. Have you heard about this? There's a proposed, I think it's an EU law they're proposing, which would ban the labelling of non-meat products. So vegan products as being sausages. You can't say veggie burgers, for example.
Yeah.
You would have to call
Burger
them...
is a meat name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You would have to call them discs.
Oh, I love that.
Sausages, if they're veggie sausages, or they would now have to be called...
Is it tubes?
Correct, Alan.
Although I've got a problem with that, because surely tubes are hollow by their very nature.
Oh.
So calling them tubes means they're going to have a hollow bit in the middle.
Oh,
Also-
that would be... I quite like the idea of sausages with like a shaft
Yeah,
running through
Just make me
the
feel
middle.
ill.
You could eat them off your fingers.
that would be nice.
Imagine sitting
Oh,
and look like a
yeah.
batting glove
Yeah.
and just eating them off. Oh,
Or, Frank, a
What a
very
lovely world.
primitive
Eating
sort
your
of...
tofu tubes off your hand. Like,
It would look quite primitive 80s robot.
yeah.
A sort of Tron...
Well, it would look
thing.
like somebody eating their own fingers and leaving
Yeah.
a skeleton
Yeah.
behind.
Ironically,
It's
for a
always good.
non-meat product.
It is, yeah. What they actually used, I mean, I saw they used the phrase cultural appropriation.
Did
which,
they
yeah,
really?
It's meat.
Some meaty person, someone from, I don't know, Pork Today or Chop Concern, said, yeah, it was meat. These vegetarian people who are always very anti-meat are very happy to take our names
Yeah.
and use them to their own advantage. I thought that was
Yeah.
fabulously base moral indignation. Oh,
And presumably...
well
what-
done, the Offal Bureau.
Yes.
So they're all. See, I like the way the meat guys were saying.
guys?
We used to say a thing when we used to say a thing to kids in the street when I was. So get off up your own end,
Oh, yeah.
and it was like that. Get off up your own end. Get your own words.
What I would say, both, is that... Can't be bothered with individual names anymore. I'm
Good
busy.
stuff.
Discs and tubes. It doesn't
Yeah.
sound very appealing.
No.
I think for discs, they must be able to come up with better than that.
Frisbees.
I think.
Wow,
Yeah.
that is brilliant.
Yeah. Why
you.
not?
How brilliant.
Thank you.
Well, if Also, if they're not going to be named by the meat guys, are they?
No.
They should be allowed to be named by the vegetable community.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so they can call it like the frisbee of hope.
Yeah.
What they need to do is get on their moral high horse about how they're saving the planet.
Don't think they
Yeah.
get on horses.
No, they'd get on one to rescue it, maybe.
And we should say there are several.
Oh, I could just eat a compassion cylinder. Compassion cylinders and mash.
Nice.
Oh, that's what you do, though. I think every time you order, you remind people
Yeah.
Yeah.
that you're in the right.
Also, Frank, I would say it's not they're being a little strict, the meat guys.
I know.
Yeah.
Because let's face it, the grapefruit. Excuse me, I see no grape.
Good point.
No. Very
And
good
why
point.
the need to mention why so thirsty grapefruit for the attention with the fruit thing? And not every other fruit doesn't do that.
The grapefruit is a bit. I'm having that. Someone has seen the grape. They've seen the grape and thought that's a good name for a fruit. But no one will know. It's not very. Not many people see the grape. They'll think we did it first. Yeah. It comes back to you in the end.
This is the best of Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Yeah, anyway.
George Clooney has been in the news for other reasons. He said in an interview that he's never had an argument with his wife Amal.
It's like you, Frank.
Yeah. Very similar to our house.
And he said, we haven't ever had an argument. Everybody's been slammed together because of the coronavirus, and a lot of friends' relationships have been tested. For us, it's been really easy.
What I would say about that, speaking as a recovering alcoholic, I find that weirdly, if you say at a party, have you got anything that's non-alcoholic, just orange juice or something, they immediately think, I've got alcoholic, obviously,
Right.
because you're not drinking alcohol, which is weird. By the same thing, if someone says to me, we never argue, I think there is something severely wrong with their relationship.
Can I say I 100% agree?
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. I am one of the, if there's no pearl, if there's no friction, that's my thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I've found it traumatic.
Someone somewhere is, I'm just saying, stuff's not coming out. And when stuff doesn't come
They're
out,
giving in.
Yeah.
they're giving it.
I mean, if you're married to a lawyer, you might be. I can see you being careful. Is this harsh? I would say that George Clooney was one of the 7 items or less stars.
Do you want to just recap for
That's a good
non-regulars
point.
on your 7 items?
7
or less?
people
We
who've
haven't
done
mentioned this
less
for a while,
than
have we?
7 notable things in their career.
Good shout.
I would say Ocean's 11, Oh Brother Where Art Thou? Then aren't you struggling a bit there?
Gravity.
Gravity's that is a good film.
That film brought me down.
Coffee adverts.
An espresso.
ER.
Yeah.
It's an espresso in his body
ER,
of work.
we've gone right back to ER. Fairly quickly, actually.
Of course, if we were on BRMB now, the West Midlands radio, I'd say you must be a very giving bloke because he was in ER.
Right.
Because you'd say,
Yeah.
ER.
Yeah. Well, he also added, after he said that it's been really easy in lockdown to be stuck together, he said, George went on to add that the pair, as in him and Amal, the pair's united passion for philanthropy and humanitarian causes has kept them grounded and made their relationship strong.
Well, now hold on. I mean, obviously that's a good thing, isn't it?
Well, if you want to interpret it that way, yeah.
What I feel sorry for.
I mean, I've crossed them off my dinner party list just reading that. I don't know if you guys have.
I think it's good that they do a good thing. I know what you... I mean, if I was a career activist, I might feel like a career children's author. That all these, everyone's an actor. I think, look at Swampy. He must have thought, I've given my life to this. And now you look on Twitter, everyone's comedian and activist, actor and activist.
But you know, Swampy, first through the door. If you're the first through the door...
Trailblazer.
Yeah.
But those people, and there's plenty of them about, they are activists. That's what they do.
Yes,
Yeah.
this is true.
So they must hate the celebs who do a little bit of activism at the weekend.
Yeah.
Well, it's activism with a blow dry, isn't it? You know?
Sorry, you're just going to give me a second. I'm so anxious about that. So anxious. Whoa. God, that sounded like a Hillary Clinton quote. Frightened the death out of me. Oh, man.
You're making the table shake.
I know, sorry, but that's my heart's pounding.
Can't even mention a blow dry.
No. I think he was raised a Catholic as well, and
Oh,
then
that
he
must
faded.
mean you like him.
No,
does
he
it?
faded.
Oh, is he lapsed up to the eyeballs?
I read the thing. He said he's not sure. He said he doesn't believe in hell. It's one of the things he said. I
Oh.
thought, well, you've only been married 6 years, mate.
1974 when you face it.
The best of Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Frank, Mark Cotterill got in touch with me, one of our readers.
Him.
He said it was very sweet, this tweet. It was a midweeker, and it was the excitement of having seen a friend's house on the telly or something.
Yeah.
Frank's just been a question on Mastermind, he said.
Oh, that's good. What was the specialist subject? Gits. Gits through the ages.
Yeah. Who else was in there?
Gits of all time.
Yeah, who else was in there? Good question.
Correct. Which Git was born?
Who would it be? Orson Welles.
Who were the top? Who would be in the Gits Mastermind?
In the Git
question?
Parade.
Schopenhauer.
Can we let that breathe, please? Phenomenal work by
Strong.
the
Still in there, that,
First
ping.
link as well. First link, not even a warm-up.
and the fact that it was the
Bear in
Git
mind-
Parade was said by Britain's leading Git.
I know. And the fact I've only got under 2 months, and which I can legitimately sing when I'm 64. And still there, still like a razor. Oh.
Who else is going to be in the Git Parade? Orson Welles is in the Git.
Yeah, have you ever heard his advert for Findus frozen food?
Yeah.
Orson Welles.
Oh, yeah.
And he said, he does it, and the bloke says, I think, if you could be a bit, and he says, and what do you in the depths of your ignorance advise? Oh, wow. And I thought, yeah, we've all been there, Orson. I don't think people allow for the stress of working with idiots, though.
Good point.
And incompetence. It's,
Should we go
knocks
to
you
a song?
Knocks you about.
Unbelievable, Al. Unreal. I obviously went straight to iPlayer to have a look at this.
Oh, okay.
And I was so excited.
Let me just set this up. Yeah.
And I watched the gentleman in question. And how can I put this? He looked intelligent.
Oh, okay. One thing I noticed about the men on...
He looked like he might watch Doctor Who.
there's a certain type of mastermind male who look like they got their shoes on prescription. You can see when they're in the big wide of a mall city. I always look out for those. Yeah. Anyway, carry on.
He looked like he might have arrived with a plastic bag instead of a...
Okay, my kind
Which
of guy.
I like, your kind of guy.
But was I in general knowledge or in his
All right, calm
specialist
down.
subject?
Calm the ego down.
Okay.
You were in general knowledge.
Okay, fair enough.
You looked pleased by that. Is that better for you?
No, I wouldn't have minded being
Okay.
in Tibetan architecture.
You would have been.
don't know.
It would have been a Doctor Who.
Yeah,
if
it
you'd
would have
been in
felt
it.
like I'd been slightly wedged.
It was a general knowledge.
What do you know? What was the question then?
It was. It just had general. It was quite a weird question. It said which. It listed all your. It said which comedian. It was first.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank God.
Performer, TV. I can't remember what else it called you, but then it said was born. And it had your birth name, Christopher Collins, and blah blah blah. And then I went, and he passed.
Oh.
But listen, Frank, before you get upset, when
Yeah.
they came to it, there was a lovely moment because he said, and that answer too. And John Humphrey said it as if to say, come on, you missed a biggie here.
Yeah.
He said, and the answer, and he went, I know. He said, it was, of course, Frank Skinner. He went, oh. And John Humphrey said, I know.
Did he go, oh, or did he go, who?
He knew it.
Ah, okay.
And John Humphreys looked at him as if to say, you should have got that.
Did he win it? Did he win that? Did he win his thing? Or did he not get that far?
Might have won.
Okay. I might keep an eye on him. Can you bet? Do they have betting on? They don't have betting on it, do they? I've never heard of anyone betting on it.
The best of Frank Skinner. Absolute Radio.
I suppose we've all been asked that question. To what extent is your personal grooming influenced by Ollie Murs?
Mm-hmm.
I interviewed Ollie Murs. This is going somewhere, trust me. I don't know if you remember, I used to have a thing on iPlayer called On Demand.
Yes.
It was actually, though I say it, a shouldn't, very fine show, but decommissioned, you know. It's okay, I'm fine with it. I'm still...
You give it a sort of a nuclear sound when you say decommission.
well, you know, I'm still... I carry on. I'm still MP for Islington North,
All
as it
right.
were. So... he was a nice guy, Ollie. I hadn't met him before.
And part of the thing with that is it was sort of quite cosy, wasn't it? You were on a sofa with the guests, sometimes in a bed. Lee Mack and you were in bed together. I
Yeah,
seem to
well,
remember.
with Ollie Murs, we met in some Chelsea restaurant that he favours. I had a long chat with him. I took I took a ferry across Mersey, and
Lovely.
he said to me that one of his joys in life was Tom Ford products.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Now I had no awareness of Tom
The scent
Ford.
guy, is he?
Yeah, the scent people, scent
Oh, I mean,
items.
that's one way you could refer to him, for heaven's sake.
What, does
What?
he do other stuff?
Yes.
He does nonsense stuff.
He's a
Nonsense?
designer.
Yeah,
He's
I
a
thought that was my
fashion
stuff.
designer. He's branched out into that recently. I sat next to him on a plane once.
I got a gift at the end of the run from the producer, and it was a bottle of this Tom Ford shower gel.
Shower gel.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I did that thing, which I don't know if you ever listened to other radio stations, that thing that it seems to be a lot of presenters are doing with their interesting and funny stuff. I saved it for best.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And I've saved it for best for years.
Oh, dear.
And then, what with the global pandemic, I've taken on a sort of a gather ye rosebuds while ye may, carpe diem, and I thought I'm going to use the Tom Ford.
Crack out
your
the 7-year-old.
carpe diem.
Crack out the 7-year-old shower gel.
I like the
Yeah.
fact your carpe diem is using some shower gel.
That's what I mean.
But you mean keeping for best? There used to be
Adrenaline junkie.
There used to be a sentimental email that went round about a bloke who's, I think he had some tragedy in his life, and when he went through the person's belongings, he found some stuff they'd been keeping for best and never
Oh,
wore.
right.
And it's
Yeah.
saying, like, don't keep stuff for best.
Oh, I never would.
This stuff, it's called Oud Wood.
Oh, yeah.
OWD.
OWD.
It's,
Oh, okay.
Oud.
Oh, is it Oud?
Yes.
Because you're so poetry, I thought you were saying ODE, Ode.
No, Ode to wood.
In the Black Country, it's how
the
you'd
shower.
say you'd say old where I come from.
Oh,
so
is
you'd
it?
say smells of old wood in here.
It's
Oh, it's oud.
oud, it's pronounced. It's
Well,
a
that's-
certain type of fragrance.
That would have been a great Doctor Who joke. You know, oud wood. No, but thanks for the tip. The oud is a creature.
Is it?
It looks like it's overgorged on spaghetti. It's got all these tendrils coming out of it.
Oh, I've seen
mouth.
that. Yeah.
Okay.
I've looked like that.
So
many
it's
times.
oud wood.
Oud.
What is
yes.
oud?
Oud is a specific type of fragrance. I suppose like you'd have what is, frankincense. It's a scent. It's a scent. It's a very ambery, musky scent. Hence oud wood.
So we've done frankincense and myrrhs.
Man, we're going absolutely I
nearly a Christmas show,
And
this.
that, Al, was gold. If only I had a jingle that went gold. Oh, anyway, that was what
I reckon
tremendous.
we could get Tony Hadley to come in and sing that for us.
Yeah, I think,
Easy.
yes. So anyway, here's my. We began by asking how has Ollie Murs influenced my personal grooming.
Go on.
Here's the thing, and I'm going to put this as delicately as I can, but I'm using now Tom Ford shower
Oud.
gel,
Yeah.
Oud Wood.
Oud Wood, and I do my whole body.
You use it like a body wash.
Oh no, you shouldn't have
it's
done
shower
that.
gel. It's shower gel.
Well, I know,
Yeah.
but I'm worried about what's happened here.
Well, I'll tell you what
Yeah.
happens. Is, but when I get to
I'm
my
sensing a medical emergency on its way.
no, I do everything. But when I get to my bum, I switch to a cheaper shower gel.
Good lad.
Just for that.
That's fine.
And that,
That's just sensible
for
budgeting.
me, is a sort of a reasonable keeping for best
Yeah.
that doesn't exclude using it at all.
Absolutely ill.
Little tip there for the people at home.
How did it smell, the Oud?
How dare you? Oh, they.
The best of Frank Skinner.
Absolute Radio.
Anyway,
How long are we going to avoid the elephantitis in the room?
Well, he played a song called "Cut Your Hair," and we've not even discussed the fact that he's shorn it.
Yes.
It's gone.
Frank has. I mean, no one warned me. I wasn't prepared. I walked in this morning and blown me down. It was a new man standing in front of me.
Innit?
well, I did it on a whim.
You never.
I did it on a whim. Yeah. I tell you what, funnily enough, I didn't watch the Graham Norton show, although a lot of people watched it and said my hair looked terrible. Some people personally communicated with me.
Many texted the show last week, and
Yeah.
we filtered a fair number of them
you.
out.
I
for you.
appreciate that.
We only told you the broadcastable ones.
Yeah. But I didn't watch it because I don't really watch myself on stuff like that in case it
Cool.
breaks my heart.
It's not that it breaks your heart. It's because it's a very unhealthy thing to do. But that's another story.
Well,
Also, sometimes they leave setups in and not punchlines when you watch
yeah,
television
exactly,
shows that you've
exactly.
been on.
I know, people.
No clue.
Way of scratching your fingers into your own wallpaper. It's,
Yeah, it's really painful. Anyway, but what I did watch a bit of was Emily interviewing me for the what was that thing called? The Ahab, Captain Ahab conference.
Captain Ahab.
It was something like that.
What was it? The producer will know. International.
Ahab.
We tried to work out. We spent
Oh,
several
yeah.
hours
It's a
trying to
bureau.
work
There's a
out.
bureau involved.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
And,
right.
What did it stand for in the end, Frank?
Advertising, Internet Advertising Bureau.
Oh,
No.
yeah.
Something like that. Anyway, I watched a bit of that and my hair looked terrible. I mean, it was terrible.
Uh-huh.
It wasn't just,
And I don't think that was its badness peak. I think that was like a week
Really?
or two before.
well. Michael McIntyre texted me and said that he thought it symbolised the current crisis.
Wow.
So, yeah, I watched it on that thing and it's sort of post-lobotomy chic.
Yeah.
Is how I would describe it. So I decided, I can't believe I went on national television. International television. It's Graham Norton goes across the globe. So sorry
think
guys, it's a globe. That's lost half our listeners.
Why do you think, darling, that that's maybe occurred to you now rather than
Because
couple of
it's like this
weeks back?
It's like this radio show. Some people listening might not know that the texts and everything that come in don't come into my side of the desk. Only Alan and Emily see them. So I live in the belief that only love is coming in and praise. And that keeps me going. And because I didn't watch myself with the hair thing, from inside it felt great. The hair. This side of the hair, it looked really good. It was like the chair at Aintree. It
Yes.
looked good from one side, but once you're over, it's a terrible drop at the other side. So from inside it seemed great, but once I got an objective view of it, it was absolutely, it's like one of the worst haircuts I've ever seen on television. And I've watched a lot of programmes, you know, set in hospitals and prisoner of war camps. It's right up there.
Absolute Radio.
The best of Frank Skinner. Absolute Radio.
We do talk off air, you know.
Oh,
We've got
yeah.
like some shows here, they sit stony-faced when the music plays, but we chat like old friends.
Yeah.
Anyway, we were talking about...
We do occasionally check that the mics are down.
Oh, yeah, it's always good
Yeah.
to that because there's quite a lot of vicious malice and what I would call barrack room language. But we were just talking about someone who I work with, who Emily knows. I don't know if Alan knows him, but we're talking about claims to fame. And
Yes, I kicked it off
Yeah.
with Rebecca Front, the actor. Her dad designed the logo for the Beatles' Rubber Soul album, which is a
That is-
great claim to fame.
That is, especially she's called Front as well, and it's all about the front of that cover. He didn't do the writing stuff on the back, the parlophone symbol. What's the point?
And you mentioned...
And I mentioned we know a guy, and his dad made the Velcro fitted skirts that were torn off the Box Fizz ladies during Eurovision. And so if anyone out there has got what they would call a off the wall claim to fame, I'd love to hear it.
Yeah. We've got Claire Baharrel. I shared my bag of fruit pastels with Dick and Dom at Strictly last year.
Oh, wow. That's a double. Just to get into Strictly is quite an achievement.
Yeah.
Dick and Dom.
Carmel McKenna, Bruce Forsyth hit a golf ball that landed on my legs on the Des O'Connor show, and that was in the early 90s.
Landed on your legs on the Des O'Connor show. There's more to that.
There definitely is.
Was Carmel in the audience and he chipped... Maybe he chose a niblick and he just chipped one off the stage, off maybe a little square of AstroTurf they'd put down.
Yeah.
It landed in her lap. Or was she the one in the glittery leotard and he was supposed to be driving it straight and he spliced it?
Yeah.
Hit her on the kneecap.
This is more local claim to fame.
Can I
but-
just
sorry,
say
Frank.
that the Dick and Dom one reminds me of when I was at a film premiere eating popcorn and Bob Geldof came over.
Oh, you're
and
still upset about this.
Oh, I wouldn't give him any. I know. Yeah, he said, "Come on, get some popcorn." No, please. I said, "Say please." He wouldn't say it.
Yeah.
Paul Pox.
Nothing he has done has made up for that, in my opinion.
He fed the world.
Yeah, not with my popcorn, he did. Rude. There's no excuse for rude.
How rude.
I mean, it is
rude.
rude to not say please if you're asking for somebody else's food. You're
Yeah,
right.
totally.
You tell him. I have a very topical claim to fame. In 1972, my dad was... It doesn't sound very topical so far.
Not so far.
With our show, that is very topical.
Yeah, exactly. My dad was the assistant to Laurie McMenemy at Grimsby Town.
Oh, no.
Grimsby were playing Middlesbrough in a pre-season friendly, and my dad let me sit on the bench. I was 10 years old at the time. At half-time, there were lots of substitutions, of which Nobby Stiles was one. Nobby Stiles took his front teeth out and handed them to my dad, who in turn handed them to me and said, "Put these in your pocket." I was retching at the thought of the teeth in my pocket.
Different time.
But not many people can say they've had a World Cup winner's false teeth in their possession. Gordon
No.
from St Albans.
That is brilliant. And full respect to Nobby Stiles, by the way, who features in Three Lions, of course, for his famous World Cup dance.
Yeah.
Can I tell you that the headline in the Birmingham Mail was former West Brom boss and England World Cup winner, Nobby Stiles. That's what not ever afraid of the parochial, the Birmingham Mail. He was Albion manager for about 6 months max. But, yeah, also won the World Cup.
842 worked with Nick Knowles' mum at the Benefits Agency in Tunbridge Wells 32 years ago.
Fantastic.
32 years ago.
I was watching him just the other day on Home is Where the Art Is. So have you seen that?
No, I haven't.
Oh, he's brilliant on that. I tell you, he's took to wearing very tight garments. Nick Nails. He looks like he's been dressed.
Nails?
He looks like he's been... Did I say nails?
Nick Nails.
Okay. Well, I don't know what made me think of that. But it looks like he's been dressed and then soaked.
The best of Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Would you like to hear this claim to fame, Frank?
Oh,
From
yes.
Tim Bread.
Tim Bread.
Yes.
Okay.
My enemy on the carbs front. Tim says, my fingers are sometimes used as stock footage when ITN show a PIN being entered at an ATM.
Oh, that's good.
After I did an interview years ago when the banks had an IT meltdown. Tim, I think that might be my favourite so far.
That is really
brilliant.
good.
Yeah.
I hope we don't get any of the people who were used in the national obesity
I
crisis.
always feel sorry for
I
those
do,
people.
'cause
They must recognise themselves.
Yeah, they
and-
don't use faces, but you'd recognise a T-shirt or something
Yeah.
like that. What an outfit.
The Unwitting Slayer as well. You might remember she spent 6 hours in the maternity hospital after laughing a lot at you, and her daughter was nearly called Frankie. Do you remember that?
It rings a...
I got shoved by a bloke getting off a train, started to fall backwards and was caught by Richard E. Grant, who
Great.
escorted me off the train like the total gent he is.
Fantastic.
That's
Yeah.
nice.
You can picture... You could trust... He's probably done many, many drama school trust exercises where you
Yes.
fall back into someone's
Good
arms
point.
and catch them. He probably knew the exact bracing position to
Been
save his
training
back.
for his whole life in many ways, hasn't he?
God, he is the guy you want to fall into.
Here's a fun one.
Whereas David James, the goalkeeper, he'd be on the floor.
Hello, my off-the-wall claim to fame is that my dad once made a sheepskin coat for hard-drinking Canadian snooker sensation Bill Werbeniuk. And they finish, good luck beating that, from Tony Moss.
Sheepskin coat.
I wonder how many sheep died in the making of that.
I think
coat.
a fair
He was
few.
a big man.
Well, I Googled Bill Werbeniuk during the last link because I thought this was funny, and it says that he's a hard drinker Canadian snooker sensation. The main photo that comes up is him sitting at a table absolutely covered in various drinks.
I'll tell you why that is, though, because Bill Werbeniuk claimed on his tax returns, his tax claim was that he couldn't play snooker in a tournament because of nerves made his hand shake and he couldn't play.
Like the yips.
So this was before the beta blockers were introduced. So he said he had to drink at least 15 pints of lager before he could play a game. So he used to claim all that lager against...
I haven't done that for a while.
I'll tell you what he's most famous for, strangely, is his fellow countryman... Cliff Thorburn, known as the methodical Mountie. In those days when if you came from Canada, you probably called a Mountie. He got the first ever 147, I think, televised. I think it was the first ever. And it's that stage at the World Championships where they have a screen down in between the tables because there's 2 games going on.
Oh, yeah.
And when he got near the end, you just saw Bill Werbeniuk's face, like the moon coming over a mountain range. Looking around the corner, watching this final thing.
Oh, Bill.
I think he's no longer with us, Bill. But
These we have loved, eh?
Glyn has texted, I was once given a lecture from Big Daddy on why I shouldn't bite my nails. I wonder what that lecture contained. Like, how many different points were there? Why?
Don't bite your nails. I imagine it went roughly like that.
I mean, if we're talking about physical appearance, mate,
Oh, God.
physician heal thyself, daddy heal thyself.
Did he invent the mankini, would you say?
Oh,
He was pre-Borat, very much so, yes.
Yeah.
I'm reading, while we're on what we're reading, I'm reading the Rupert Everett diaries.
Fun?
Oh, come on. Oh, I'm going to start them in our reading club.
I like that
That
we've gone a
sounds
bit
fun.
book club.
Yeah. What are you reading, Frank Skinner?
I am reading a biography of John Milton.
Oh,
Yeah.
Love him.
It was.
loves the poetry.
Yeah,
And
it's
now,
not poetry. It's mainly about his political. He was a great champion of the execution of Charles I. As it turns out.
Absolute
Look,
Radio.
I'm not one to gossip.
3 a.m.
Harry Styles to Milton's view on the execution of Charles I. Here at Absolute Radio, where real culture matters. If there's any of Charles I's family listening, no offence.
This is the best of Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
I remember when I bought my first ever flat, I went into a B&Q in Wolverhampton to get some things, and they had some of those lights, those lights, ceiling lights with like a sort of
Things.
things for a new house.
Did you have that on your shopping list?
Yeah.
Things.
When you move into a place, you need things that you
Yeah,
didn't
yeah.
have before. And they had those lights that have they're in a cage. Those lights that you get on ceilings?
Exactly.
And I thought I loved those. I want to put those in the flat.
Yeah.
So I bought 4. I had them in my trolley like you do at B&Q. And the guy looked at them and I said, I was talking to the person I was with. I said, I can have 2 in the living room, 2 in the bedroom. And he said, them for a garage. I said, I know, but I thought they'd work well in this flat. And he said, them for a garage. I mean, completely. I mean, this far and no further. He let me purchase them, but I really felt a sense of having done something wrong. If you're listening, mate, they look lovely. So it's fine. By the way, while you're on,
Yeah.
Yeah,
is it still possible to ask Jeeves?
that's a good question.
It feels very 90s.
But I'm inclined to ask him. I was always, when I first asked Jeeves, I remember being gutted that the answer didn't end with "sir." I mean, if you're going to be Jeeves,
you
the
started
little
this.
image had him with a tray. I mean, go with it. Don't half be Jeeves.
And not just sir. I want a very good sir in there.
Something of
Certainly,
that
sir.
nature. I'd got me monocle on, me +4s, all ready for his response. And it was like computer talk. Very disappointing. Anyway, if anyone out there knows if you can still ask Jeeves, do let us. No, you ask him, but he's quite sullen about the whole Google thing. Drinks a bit more than he ought to. Unshaven. The logo now is him on waste ground with a few other servants.
It's
Who would
all
it
at
be?
an angle that's hanging off.
Parker from Thunderbirds and Kato, the Green Hornets, are all sitting around.
Alfred as well from Batman.
Oh yeah, passing around the. I think if I remember rightly, Jeeves used to drink hair lacquer with fortified wine.
The best of Frank Skinner. Absolute Radio.
By the way, don't forget this morning's texting. Best original questions for Guess Who.
Oh, that's good.
I've been playing Guess Who this week.
Have you?
And
how's it going?
I don't know if I told you, when I first started playing with my son, he was only like 2, and one of his first questions was, do they look kind?
Oh, yeah.
And I said, that's 2. You got to be more specific than that.
What a marvellous question. Then.
Yeah. Do they look askance? So I was quite pleased with this week with my visible tongue inquiry.
Have they got a visible tongue?
Oh, yeah, they got a visible tongue. was
Excellent.
one.
It's a great
But you don't
question.
just want to go male, female, dog, cat, whichever
Cat.
version you're playing.
No.
I'm
Beard.
trying to find some cleverer ways of getting to
Do they have an air of insouciance?
that. Might be
Sort of.
too much, yeah. I'll
Do
say
they
he's
look,
8.
do they
It's a
look
bit
capable of
subjective as well.
original thought on a regular basis?
Well, I'd love to come up with some stuff though. 'Cause when you play the one with human beings, if your first question is are they male, you've wiped out half the board straight off. Come on.
Do they appear to have a hinterland?
I'll tell you something as well. There's a major design error in Guess Who. It's
What's
that?
that?
If you tip it one way, the doors open on one side, and if you tip it on the other, they all close and the other ones open.
Oh, shut up.
Rubbish. Come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
I see
Sort
what
it
you mean.
out, Guess Who?
Listen, I
Yeah.
went to a Punch and Judy show
Again,
this week.
I don't.
do you go to one every year? Is this
to-
a ritual
If
for
there's
you?
one around, I go. I love them. Absolutely love them.
How do you even hear about them? I haven't. I mean, I don't think I've ever
I've
heard.
got Punch and Judy alerts.
Thing is, I believe this.
There's one now.
I
This guy used the swazzle as well.
The swazzle.
Oh.
beg your pardon.
You know the swazzle in
No,
there.
I don't.
Oh.
I'm a
Well,
woman
you
of the
can
world.
do
Is this
punch.
daytime radio?
Oh, it's all right. You can do
Swazzle,
punch.
wow.
You can do Mr. Punch the way I do him. Naughty, naughty, naughty. That's why I knew it. You can do it like that, but that's not authentic.
Oh, okay.
The real Mr. Punch.
God forbid.
You have a thing, and it's like a little device that you have in your mouth, and it makes it sound really. The voice comes really weird.
A swazzle.
And it's a swazzle.
How does it sound then?
I might get one.
Well, I can't do it without the swazzle, but it's a more sort of unearthly version of. That's why I knew it.
Is it
okay.
like a kazoo? The
yeah,
swazzle.
like a miniature.
It's got a sort of, when people have had their voice sort of electronically treated.
Oh, it's like an
Yeah.
it's like an early auto tune.
Yeah, a bit like.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm a gummy bear. Gummy bear. Oh, I'm a yummy, gummy, gummy, gummy bear.
If you can imagine that, but if it was produced by Samuel Beckett,
Yeah.
that's what the voice changes sounds into. Sounds changes any words. Just that's an anagram of a fine sentence. So it really makes him sound weird. And this guy was doing the proper swazzle thing. I could see when he spoke to the kids. I saw him. I thought he was chewing at first, and then I thought he's got a swazzle. Here we go.
Wow.
And sure enough, very exciting.
You must be like, you know, when at the snooker at the Crucible and they applaud like a really
Oh, yeah.
subtle safety shot.
Exactly.
You must be like that fan, but for Punch and Judy.
Yeah. I was. I once.
Got a couple of purists in tonight.
Well, I know there's a thing amongst Punch and Judy men. It's one of the first things they ask.
Thing
is,
amongst Punch and Judy men. What's going on?
One of the first things they ask is, do you do the hanging? Because traditionally he was hanged
All right.
at the end, and now they've tended to phase that out for the small ones.
Oh, that's nice. That's
No.
considerate.
Yeah, it was.
Hang 'em, I say.
I find
Yeah.
I find
It's only a puppet, isn't it?
Also, he's a vicious individual. He's
Yeah.
normally.
well, this I was going to say, Frank. I find the themes very distressing.
Oh, I don't know about that.
And
If there's one thing
I just find
love.
him very unattractive, Mr. Punch, visually.
Just one thing.
If there's one thing I love, and this is a regular news story, it's crocodile in a domestic setting.
Oh, yeah.
Man in council flat with crocodile in Bath. That story that comes up now and again. I mean, it's one of my all-time faves.
The best of Frank Skinner.
Absolute Radio.